bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you. Maria, fiz falarmos inglês?
Sim.
So, like, this talk didn't have a theme in the beginning, but our idea, then we talked about it maybe because it's New Year, thinking about intentions or something like that. But then we'll have an open discussion to talk about whatever topic. I'll just open up with that thing about intentions. I've been thinking about, since we talked about the theme, I was like, what are my intentions? I'm always like, I never define an intention from my years. Like, I define it maybe in the subconscious, but I don't really know what it is. And I was thinking about it, and there's two things that I thought about. I always think about it, like when it's about decision making, long-term decision making, lifelong decision making. And one comes from a verse, I think in Bhagavad Gita, says, whatever decisions you make, if it is according to your own truth, you better live that than like live your whole life.
Living a life of your following your heart is better than live a life from others, a well-lived life from others.
Yeah.
And death is better than that.
Yeah, it's better to die like that. That's how it is. But that's for sure like the basis of intention. You know? Like, when we set our intention somehow for the day or for the morning, for our practice, better be truthful. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, I want to be peaceful to the person who hurt me. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard, maybe it's true. Sometimes it's hard to accept that you don't want, and that might be, that accepting that truth might be the best way to overcome and to turn that feeling to a better and positive feeling. You know. Then I was thinking about three things that maybe I can work through into my year. There was one was jnana, you know, creating knowledge about self, like promoting knowledge about me, like getting to know myself, finding like better ways to learn people around me and better ways for me to follow my path to my truth. You know, I'm doing something new. I wanted to fit into my truth. Don't want just to mold to the society. Don't want just to. So in that way, I want to like cultivate knowledge of how to do, and knowledge of me and how I'm feeling. And then another one was Shraddha. Like I want to be fully committed. To be fully committed to my days and to fully believe and deliver myself to whatever objective I have, you know, like I don't want to be, why is this, like I don't want to be half invested in my actions. I remember I was more a teenager, I was half invested in my actions. I was like doing things but hesitating why. And I think now even like with all this world is stopping, everyone go inside, everyone's kind of questioning their lifestyle, like whether they are doing things in according to the rules or not, or this or that. Like I want to do my what I want, what I feel with information I have about what's going on in the world, and like I don't want to hesitate. I want to believe in the insight I have according to whatever. Like I want to promote that. And the last thing that I thought is like is dharma. It's like also acting this way and thinking about, you know, continue to contribute to the society, to the people around me. So like one is a little bit more selfish, another one is to those around me, and maybe the other thing I'm promoting for the intention of the year is more like thinking towards others somehow. It's not very specific, but it's somehow there. That's what I mean. Like when I set an intention, it's never like, I wish, man, I'll plant a garden full of roses and then that happens, but it's not. What else? Intentions. What do you think about intentions? How they come up? What's like for the day, or for the year, for the week? Like how do you set those things? Yeah.
I don't like to make like long terms, like big plans, intention, like specific. I prefer to have, it's nice to have a direction, but it doesn't have to be something really far away, because everything is always changing. And I think COVID also brings that, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, what decisions are they going to make, they're always changing. So sometimes you really need to adjust and to be more present. And that's where, in the presence, in every moment, where we have the power to make the decisions, to keep the intentions we have. You know, if we are really present and we are aware of what's coming in our way, what do I really want to choose? How I really want to act, instead of just being reactive all the time. You know, sometimes we just want goals that are so far away that we forgot the ones that are really here now. And some are happening that we had before this goal to happen, and we forgot about it. And we don't take time to appreciate it and to really live it and to relax a bit. We don't need to be always producing, you know, wishing different things. We can just enjoy the life we created right now, and we often forget about that. That's an important thing, because we also need to rest a little bit and to be more inside. And when the time comes, we act. But for that, we really need to be present and have discrimination on what we really want to choose. How we really want to act, you know, and with these values, having that in our hearts, you know, the intentions that Sergio told us, it's easier to know what to do, you know, because sometimes we have so many doubts, what to do, what to not do, and sometimes we're just overthinking too much. If we stop a little bit, we know what to do, when to do it. But sometimes it's just overthinking, and then it just creates more and more confusion in our minds. And so sometimes we need to breathe and be present, and we have the intention in our hearts, and then life unfolds easily.
And there is no right answer, right? We should just go and see and learn with what we find.
And it's different for everyone, and it's different from time to time, because it's always constantly changing.
Yeah. We should just accept that and just
do our best and leave the rest, you know, and accept whatever results come without attachment, because it's all going to pass either way. If it's good, it will pass. If it's bad, it will pass. You just enjoy it.
I think it's good to have a
direction. It's important, and I started to realize that when it's simple things. I went to the supermarket, and I really know what I wanted. So I just was there and I just got it, and really fast, really easy. It's okay. And if I don't know what I want, I was just there like around, and then it's so many information, so many things around. This promotion, this, and then you just stand there the whole day and you arrive home and you're like, oh, I don't have what I want. You know, I don't have what I need. I have a lot of stuff, but neither of this is what I want. So this is like in our mind and in our life, this happens. It's funny, but it's
yeah. So it's good to have a list to hear it. But maybe we find something else and it's okay too, or maybe we don't take this, but it's good to have the list at least.
Yeah, or else you wouldn't go to the supermarket.
What?
If you didn't say, I'm gonna go do this, you wouldn't go to the supermarket. No. You just stay.
It's also important to have like small things in our lives that makes them like a routine every day. So that is an intention. It's something that doesn't change, but it gives us space to in our mind when we are doing that, because it's a routine and we are not thinking about it. And then we are in the present moment, and then other intentions will come during the day.
Yeah, like creates a routine that allows you to create space to see what's new, what's going on, reflect about. Yeah, this is definitely.
It's like we have the practice, so we can every day look into ourselves, you know, getting out of our minds, being more present with the body, with our breath. It helps us to have more focus, discernment.
And everything just stays clear, gets clear when we do that. When we keep doing things and things and things, we just, we get lost. Like in the supermarket, we're like, oh, okay, so many things, and I want that, I want that.
Yeah, it also happens when you wake up in the morning and you have absolutely nothing to do. There are so many things I can do. I will just sit in the couch.
There is no reason to come up.
Yeah, because it takes too much effort to decide where to go. Then
So if you have a
morning routine or something, you have, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to practice, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do something, you know, to have the next step.
For me, I'm the opposite. I'm very goal-oriented.
There's different kinds of people.
Yeah, of course.
I have large goals, and I have like very specific goals. And when I came to the practice 20 years ago, I love Ashtanga because it was disciplined, everyday routine, and it made me focus even more. Like it made me very, very focused. I was already focused, but I became focused. Like, and a lot of the practice really attracts those type of people, especially in Mysore. You see in Mysore, crazy people, like all your neurosis comes out in the practice and outside of the So I think the practice is very important to me, and I think in terms of goals and being very oriented in goals. Like you said, everyone's different, and it took a long time for me to calm down. And when I first went to India, I couldn't control anything. It drove me insane. It's like you cannot. It's another world, and I had to just let go, and that was the first time I really let go, and that was really good for my practice. And then meditation, vipassana as well, which I think is an important element.
Yes.
Is once you get through like asana practice, that meditation is really important, and that's something that a lot of only advanced teachers teach in Ashtanga. I don't really understand why. I mean, I understand why, but I think it should be integrated more into practice because it's not fair that you only taught meditation until you finish first series. I mean, I don't think that's possible. I think you should be taught it throughout the series. You shouldn't wait to learn meditation, but that's how they teach it.
It can be very simple meditation, just sit
Yeah.
and observe.
Yeah, it's just like at the end of practice.
Yeah, Anapana practice is really simple.
Yeah, and the pranayamas and
And the beginners here come, first thing they do is apply Trishtana, like sitting straight,
yeah,
get the focus and focus on breath.
yeah,
And right there is the idea is to get that meditation going. Just
Yeah.
focus on how it's going, observe the breath, try not to control it, try not to extend it or compress it, just try to observe. I think that's the whole meditation that can go ongoing, be ongoing through the practice. From there it can move on to other types of meditation. That's essentially, we try to give a little bit of that.
Yeah, but for a person that really overthinks all day, arriving and just sitting and starting to meditate, it's very difficult.
That's the
So
thing.
you need to get tired, I think so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with us.
But the thing is that even those people, you have to give them something to do. Give them a goal, you know. And the goal is like, okay, let the
That's
shoulders
right.
relax.
Yeah.
More like asana, like feel the chest expanding. Listen, try to get the sound of the breath, like be from the root of the throat. Having a goal is like get you one pointed. If you don't have the goal, like all the goals come together. Maybe if you're a goal-oriented person, you need to have like hierarchy about your goals.
Yeah.
You cannot like try to do them all at once. And that's more or less in Ashtanga happens a lot. Like first this one, then this one, then that one, which is good. It's good to create foundations for you to reach higher goals.
And drishti also is for me very important to focus, really focus.
For example, in your case, Ashtanga might, if you had the right teachers, I think you do, it might have brought you your goal-oriented personality to like a more balanced level, maybe ease it down a little bit, or else you break your leg.
Exactly.
And for me, in the beginning, I think it's uplifted a bit more my goal orientation. Like I needed to put more fire in my, more wood in my fire.
The opposite. I have no goals. Like, for instance, I might moving to Costa Rica in 2 weeks.
That's
I have
amazing.
but I have no idea. I will decide like 2 days before.
Lucky
Wow.
you.
Like it's like I have nothing that really
Amazing.
No, it's
I'm jealous.
You know? Yeah,
I wish I could.
more. You know, I could deal better with the material world instead of dealing with the air and
Possibilities.
around me all the time. So I think I'm more.
I'm not like that, but I was telling I was. No, I'm not.
Yeah, right.
No, I have a Sunday morning, which is.
I think it depends on your personality. I think when you're really focused, then when you see opportunities, you go for the door. You just know it. It's intuitive. It's not, you know.
Sometimes it can, sometimes
It's
it
very
depends.
clear for me.
If someone is really perfectionist, sometimes it's like it's never the perfect. It's not perfect yet, and it can create frustration. If you really, you know, it's nice to have like this direction and these goals, but sometimes if you don't get what you want, it can cause frustration.
Yeah, disappointment.
Right? Or disappointment. So it's nice to have like these goals, this orientation, but not too attached
Totally.
to the results, and have like the balance of both.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're looking for. It's like, okay, I have this direction, and still I can flow with this. So if another things that come and I feel it, I can change a bit the course, and it's still okay.
Yeah, and give yourself space for the unexpected. Sometimes
Totally.
something happens during the day. Okay, I had set this in my mind, but I will do something completely different.
Yeah, but that's we need the discernment
Yeah.
to see that a bit clearer,
Right.
and see if it's not like moving away from our path. You know?
Yeah.
Like if you give space to the unexpected, but there's a door of your goal right there, and you're like, no, I will leave that door there, and I'll just give space to the next. No, the goal is there. I'll keep it. Then I'll do.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit both. It's a funny conversation.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we have to act as well. It's in Bhagavad Gita as well.
Yeah,
Like
you have
saying,
to act.
we have to act.
Yeah.
We're here to act.
Yes.
So we have to have bravery in our hearts and courage. And
Have you had classes on the Bhagavad Gita, or do you do like a reading group?
I did a few classes with a teacher back in Mysore. He's now online teaching.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, you can always read it again. It's really nice. With the right approach. I think there's so many specific things that have to do with Indian culture, so it's nice to have any good teacher.
Yeah.
What else? I think there's much said really on point. Too many goals is I think the idea of like seeing a goal that you're supposed to attain there, and you either have to sacrifice something, some other goal for this one. That's the discernment we're kind of talking like. That's our job, like.
Yes.
and to make effort, tapas, we really need the effort.
How do you measure this? Maybe one goal is more towards all quality of life. It's promoting your quality of life, or like it's helping your well-being thrive, or the community you're in, and the other goal maybe was more egocentric, was more like self-pleasing kind of goal. Which one is going to be? Like, are you gonna make space for both? Is it? I'm not like we should take care of ourselves, our little selves, our little ego needs like a space, it needs a voice. We need a voice, We wouldn't be talking to each other if we didn't have an individual self going on. We wouldn't be sharing all the experiences we're having if we didn't have like a center, individual centers from where everything comes here to the center and emerges. Also there is the whole well-being in general that kind of only expands and gets richer if we kind of let it be, we don't take it all for one, allow it to be all for all kind of thing. So
Yeah, but I think that during our day and during our life, we have to also have that balance between what we are going to do for the community and what we do for ourselves, because if we don't give ourselves that space, we are not ready to work on the community.
And you will just want to take out
Yes.
from the others and not give from inside out.
To fill the void that you have maybe.
Especially being in a big city, where there's a lot of energy, a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
We really need to be in our own energy, in our own space, to be more centered and grounded. And then we can have the energy enough to give to others from us. And it will just create more and more and more, because the more we give, the more we receive, and it's more expansion.
Are there opportunities to volunteer here? There's not very many places to volunteer.
I don't know. I don't know any association.
No.
I might have the animals and to give. I think there will be some, but I don't know.
the food.
Food thing.
Oh yeah, the food banks and stuff, yeah.
And also yesterday we saw some people like giving blankets to the homeless guys. Like I don't know, it was next to the Salmento station. Yes.
Really?
No, it was blankets also because of the cold. Yes. But I think it was a kind of volunteer
It's
thing.
an association.
Yes.
It's a church. I think it's near Salvador. Yeah.
Yeah, it was next to a church.
Yeah,
It's a big
church.
church.
Everything's.
Yeah.
I've looked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like very church.
And then the
It's
thing-
Catholic services.
Yeah. Even like food for poor and all. It's church.
Yeah.
related.
Yeah, that's another thing that sometimes I think about it. It's we are always trying to be more spiritual and relate ourselves with Indian cultures and Asian cultures because it was thought, we learned that the Catholic Church is, I think, somehow people here in the Occident, they changed completely the purpose of the Catholic Church. But in the end, it's also very spiritual, the Christian. I mean, I think all the religions have this kind of the same goal. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we came from the same.
Already it's just like in the West we have a lot of the individual sense of thinking, and that's maybe a difference from Eastern side, and that allows everyone to just ask and question what is the church role, what is the church background, mission, what is the church underlying message, you know. So that's generated all this thinking that maybe our generation feels.
Yes.
Like I think my parents didn't baptize me, and they, I think that was the idea, like they didn't choose kind of thing. You know? I wasn't born with a lot of prayers or things that I wouldn't relate to, or they wouldn't at least know how to explain to me. That was it. And I think I kind of take lessons from different, for sure. Here in Porto, there's a lot of churches that give food. I already did a few of those. I was there giving food, maybe eating food some days. You know? But the idea is that I learned a little bit from everyone. I understand.
Yeah, and having our open minds is true.
That's what this says, like the East and West kind of merging together. It's nice for everyone to question, be able to like backslide, see from, be under control. That's where the faith is leading you to. But I think the common idea of all religions is to have like shraddha, to trust, to be fully like
Faith.
to be faithful, like in a way, like trusting that your actions, trusting like there is a common goal, there is
The learnings from your teacher, your guru, your priest, or whatever it is.
learning from,
Yeah.
just like have a sense like, but that's where this kind of trust is like, so if you're always like in church listening to the sermon, always like questioning everything, I don't think you're gonna get the same result as if you are like also trusting. But then this kind of trust is not also the blind faith. It's little tiny. It's not supposed to just follow blindly stuff. It's not supposed to like be always, I'm gonna do just until it proves itself. I'm gonna do or believe.
Well, that's a religion you're talking about. Then what we're talking about is more spirituality. And so in spirituality, when you feel something eventually through asana practice, you will ultimately feel like you need to be like close to the poor. Like it's your proximity to like the disenfranchised community. At least that's how I've learned it.
Okay.
And you'll want to do more. Like in my school, they make you go to the all the orphanages, and they made me go to volunteer. They didn't make you go. They made you go. And so you want to be close to people. Like for me, like I need to be close to help people.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not a saint, but there's a proximity eventually that you want to be close to the people who are on the fringes. So like the homeless people that I see, the junkies. I see a lot of junkies here on the streets, more than homeless. They're not even homeless; they're junkies, and it's a problem in the city. So, you know.
It was much worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Really? Wow.
The idea of like doing that was in yoga called karma yoga, right?
Exactly.
So the idea is just that you set your likes and dislikes aside, so
Right.
leave it a little bit, and do just what's right. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And that demands of you to just like, okay, I would like to be at home comfortable, you know, I wouldn't like to be in the cold outside, but you kind of get a jacket and go outside and do a little bit of what's good, you know. And that can even be our job, if our job is something to do with that, you know. You wake up in the morning because you want to be there to support people. It can be if you're a flight attendant, or if you're, it can be all of that, you know. It's no problem being late too.
You're not here alone, and
But for sure.
it's all related to each other.
The difference between religion and spirituality is that spirituality is supposed for you to get the feeling of what's going on inside, and religion sometimes is mixed up with an institutional value that you're supposed to
follow. I think that's the problem, because I think the religion only had this purpose of being spirituality. We human are the ones that really tend to have another interpretation of what religion really is for.
But religion is a word and a concept created by humans.
Yeah, it's what they say. Christ wasn't Christian.
Christ wasn't Christian.
And Buddha wasn't Buddhist, you know.
Yes. And also every time I think about it, for example, like the story of Siddhartha, it could also be the story of a Christian saint. Like it's also about the journey of our interior that everybody can have to do it. Yes.
But then the conversation can go deep, like maybe the problem is the priests that kind of didn't do their job.
Right.
That's how it got here.
Because
today.
they teach, but maybe they don't act accordingly to the teachings, and that's integrity, you know. We need to it's more important to live, you know, it's to live accordingly what we believe in.
Yeah.
Than if you're teaching but not living it. What's the point?
Yeah, because then you are away from spirituality, right? You're just in religion.
It's just egocentric. You just want to show that you're like that.
Yeah. Not really feeling it.
Make no mistake, like Hindu values and religion. Yoga is not a religion. It's like it's taken from texts that are common to Hindu texts, the values. But Hinduism also has a lot of extreme sides, the sects, different sides, more extreme, more orthodox, more like there's some machist values, some there. Basically because they're not explained in a way that's people turn even Muslims have such a valuable I think they do, like valuable lessons and morals to share, and they all gets mixed up in how it's passed by to others, you know, with a fundamentalistic view. Things can go sideways and just use it for political purposes and to gather, to move communities, you know. It's hard to see.
I think that we can only find like spirituality when we doubt and when we question things, individually. When you start questioning, and then you will find, like, you will clean your mind from wherever everybody teaches you and says you should do that or that. Why?
Buddha had a saying, it's discover and find your own light. Just go and search within. The in Ashtanga practice, the idea of having a sequence where every posture you can do it repeatedly, you will always find a different way to feel in the posture. Like, because you do it again, next day you'll feel different, you'll find a different way. You'll find like different ways to feel the same posture, different ways to approach the same posture, to move inside, to breathe inside, to the left. Like the idea of like find the like your own comfort, your own light within. If you're just doing mechanically and following, like not really having the time to look within, having a drishti to yourself and be like full focus on what your body is doing in the corner. Maybe one day I'll do a posture focused on the knee, see how the knee feels. And I'll do the other posture the other day focused on the hip. How does this hip feel? Okay, 5 breaths.
And it makes you look at your own things, you know, to yourself. You cannot hide.
Makes you face yourself.
You have to face everything that comes up. You can try to hide it, but it won't last long, because if you keep the practice, it will eventually come and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, because it's every time a journey through ourselves. And then we realize like who we are and what we are doing here, and we realize that everything is the same. We are all the same, and we get more empathetic with everything around us.
And then we can really start living our life, you know, not just being there. People just, I feel this is really funny. They don't want to die because they're afraid. They just want to have a bigger and bigger and bigger life. And even being afraid of leaving, now we did all this COVID situation, but then they don't really live it. They just want more and more life because they don't want to face death. But the body will eventually die.
Our teacher said the other day, like, people are looking to have more years in their life than having life in their years. Like, what's the point?
What's the point?
It's funny to think about.
Because we stay on the fear of things changing and ending, and if we think that we don't look at the moment, we don't really live, we're just, okay, this will be over, I don't want this to be over, and then you work to not be over, and you don't do anything.
Yeah, just stay stuck.
Well, you're not doing anything. Actually.
Like that cycle of working a lot to pay the medical bills that you need to pay because you work a lot. You know, we came to Porto last March, and it's going to be a year in a couple of months, February. That we decided to stay, even before COVID. We decided to stay, and I've been moving around a lot last years, and now I decided to stay. And my idea was like, okay, we'll set in Porto, but we still want to go to the nature. Like my grandmother has a countryside house, I would go there more often. And since COVID started, we had 3 months isolation there, which is good. But when we came here, all this like you cannot go in the weekends has not allowed us to go. So now my intention would be like to go there this weekend to keep kiwis and all of that. But we cannot go. So like, what? I don't know why it's like there is this be safe, but then I'm supposed to stay at home and not go and pick my fresh kiwis that are just going to be rotten.
And being outside of the sun, it's so important. I read studies that getting sun, the vitamin from the sun, it helps with the immune system and not having these diseases. And people are just stuck in their apartment, not getting sun. That's even worse for the immune system.
Yeah, like going there would be a way to fill my day with life instead of just reading a book, which is nice.
Yeah, we have the garden here, which is also nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
You can discover, even in the city, a bit of nature. It's always where we put our focus on as well. You can focus on the bad things and you'll be a miserable life, and you can focus on the positive and you'll be a more content and happy life. There's a choice. It's always there, both sides. So we just have to choose what we want to put our focus in.
Yeah, the filter we want to put in front.
It's always different perspectives to see things.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, at least I feel that when I'm like seeing that everything is bad and ugly, and then I realize that I have to stop and just breathe a bit. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it arrives to be meditation or whatever, but it's connecting, stopping.
Sometimes I just take a nap. I
Yeah.
just go to sleep a little bit.
And then everything gets everything gets better and everything is good. So yeah, that connection, it connects us to all of them. And then you just want to help, like for talking about helping others.
Create the
I
space.
think when you connect to everyone, so you just want to help everyone. It's natural, I guess.
And sleeping, it's the mind, it stops. That's why.
Yeah,
Like,
of
it's a deep meditation.
Please don't Fernanda.
There's no monkey mind there.
Sometimes there is. I'm dreaming. I don't know. I cannot remember. So
Yeah, and also some people just drink or take drugs to also shut out the mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
they could just come to sleep.
Yeah, but I think that talking about the fear of death and that we don't live, I think that yoga really helps with that, because when we are practicing, we have to be in the moment, and we don't have that space in our mind to have fear. Like before I practice, I think that I was always really alienated from the world. Like every time I was with people, I had to take alcohol or to smoke because I was always with some fear. I don't know.
But you also learn to face fear and uncomfortable situations in your practice. Because you will face a posture that brings you fear, or that you think you could not do it, or that is uncomfortable in some way, you know. And you learn as well how to deal with it, because there will be fear in life. You will feel uncomfortable, and they will be there, you know, because these things come and go. But you just learn how to deal with it in a calmer way and observing way, not reacting or not.
Having the ability to take that extra breath.
Yeah.
You needed to just sit and stay. Like some people don't realize that's a tool, you know. Just, okay, 3 full breaths to make a change. See differently. Like the thing you're talking about, going out and getting a drink. I think the compulsion of it is much worse than doing the act itself. Like I used to.
It's the compulsion.
And it's like, what are we doing tonight? Going that bar. Like there's a compulsion where if we're not holding a drink, we're not enjoying or something. Like there's a compulsion around that. That's not only drink, partying, and like being obsessed with this entertainment kind of consumption.
Yeah, when you use it as escape.
Sometimes you're using it as an escape and you don't realize. Sometimes you're using it as a celebration and that's okay, but it's all mixed up. Now I still like to have a beer some days, but from time to time it will be a time that I'll decide it's a time to cheers. You know? It won't be just a compulsion like every day.
Even the Ashtanga practice, if you use it like in a bad way, it can be harmful for yourself.
Running away.
You can hurt yourself, or be too rigid, and then you have to stop because you cannot handle anymore. And you get attached to it. But if you keep doing it right, eventually you'll have a different approach to it.
Talking about goals, and knowing that you were a practitioner and then got a baby. You had to make a choice and sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, like in my 30s, I was very into my practice, and I was very goal-oriented, finished second, and I was like, and then I had to think about, having a baby, and I can't practice it. I couldn't continue my practice and be full-time, mother and full-time worker and go to India. Like, I would go to India 3 times a year. I was married, and my husband was great, and he let me go, but I couldn't do that, so I had to choose. And this is something that I always had an issue with Guruji, is that he always talked about being a householder You can't be a householder and practice every day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did it. And I'm really disciplined.
Yeah.
And you cannot. And especially as a woman to have a baby, if you wanted to do it a certain way, you just can't do it. So I had to really back off. And then I had a couple miscarriages because of my practice. And so this is when I switched teachers from Gunnar to Eddie. And Eddie really helped me guide. And he said you have to quit for 1 year while you're pregnant. And that was the hardest thing. It was like awful. But it was great because it softened me. Like it really made me really soft. And
Maybe it was hard.
I mean, I gained 35 kilos.
You
Can you imagine? Yeah, I was really, really small, and because I was raw vegan, and I gained a lot of weight, and it was great for me. And I never went back to eating meat. I just ate a lot of cheese. A lot of cheese. And so I had a healthy pregnancy, a great pregnancy, and then I was like, I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna see what I can do, and I did it, but. Like Eddie was really strict with me, and like it was really hard because I didn't do anything for 1 year. I didn't even go to the gym.
Not even like a little
Nope. I just sat and ate, and I just like took it easy for 1 year but my body was okay. I mean, I was in good shape still, so I went.
But it was
back.
before you get pregnant, or you did that also to get pregnant?
No, I practiced all the way through a second miscarriage, and then Eddie was like, "You have to stop. You cannot practice." And then I got pregnant very easily, so that was my third, and my son Indra, his name is Indra.
You had to stop.
I had to stop because like
your body was asking.
He told me you can't come back. He told me you cannot come back.
For your type of personality.
Yeah,
that
I
must
was like, I can't come back. I got kicked out of the shower. So you can't come back. Like you just have to be pregnant. Yeah.
We had a student that she left she stopped coming to try and get pregnant.
To try to get pregnant.
But you can practice it if you are pregnant.
You can do it.
Many women do it.
Many do.
But you have to be like, okay.
It depends on you.
You have to be like.
For certain postures, you can.
You have to be able to adjust, take it easy.
You cannot take it easy.
No, I didn't want to back off from practice, so I didn't want to do modifications.
Modifications.
You have to do modifications. Like I didn't want to do that. So he
Maybe
was
go
like,
back to primary.
yeah, it was like I was like, no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Come on, you go crazy.
And that's also our ego saying,
Yeah,
oh my God, I'm just taking off. I'm no good anymore.
I'm superwoman.
Exactly. It's like impossible. So then, and then I had shoulder issues, and then I quit for 2 years. So my rotator cuffs were like shredded.
Too much. But that's impressive, share. Definitely, you learn a lot. Trying to do everything.
Yeah.
There's no rush.
The practice is supposed to help us in life, not to stop living.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Our body will not be young forever, so we will not keep like advanced series like all life.
No.
I suppose so, by the end of your years.
Yeah.
And what's the point?
What's the point?
Able to sit more comfortably.
Exactly. That's the goal.
And to be happy. If we are happy, we don't need.
Exactly.
I like to think that in your 20s, like it's the right time to full effort on your asanas and
it helps with the immune system. Be more healthy body.
And it's nice to know, like even after having coming back to practice will be good, and it's possible to return to whatever potential at some point, reaching almost.
Yeah, but I was always angry that like the guys could never like. You know, they can't get pregnant. We have to stop because we get pregnant.
I tell that to say.
The guys were doing the third and fourth series.
That's also ourselves, like comparing ourselves.
And the guys will never know how it's like to be pregnant. That's so sad for me.
It's
going to happen.
And like also for me, like your whole life you're like mula bandha, adiyada.
Okay.
And then like I couldn't push out, like literally I couldn't, I was like
Relax.
And I just dropped it, made me have a C-section. I had an emergency C-section.
Because you cannot relax the muscles.
No, like that was like just push out. I'm like I don't know how to do that. For 20 years I practiced pulling in.
And you cannot pull it out.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, a lot of dancers have that problem too because they pull
engage.
in. Yeah. I know, sorry. No, I wanted a C-section. He wouldn't let me have a C-section. He wanted me to have to do it for normal. He said, you can do it. I'm like, I really can't do it. And I told him. And so that's another lesson in Ashtanga.
Yeah. Learning.
Well, God is really good, but not to help me.
Yeah.
It can
Someone can do it. Someone can do
it is for recovery and all these things. It's nice to have that muscle, but also be able to relax it.
I can't.
It's two goals, well, you know.
It's a different person.
Yeah.
That was my experience. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's really helpful to. You were also the ones that didn't stop in the lady holidays.
Oh yeah. Come on. No. Of course not. Come on.
I stopped.
Nothing changes. You do?
I
Nothing
stopped.
changes for me. Like no.
I stopped.
Really? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
feel
really
different
first.
when I practice.
She says she feels like more like heavy or dense.
Yeah, I feel in the back bends a lot.
You feel it in the back end?
Even before, it's just 1 day or 2 days.
Yeah, like the first day.
Yeah, it's nice to allow the body to relax because there is cycles. And so during your menstruation, it's like the body is what's this? It's releasing.
Shedding.
It's like you're dying, you know. And if you don't rest, and also the energy. So when you're mula bandha, right? So you're bringing the energy up. And the energy is going down, releasing, going down, and you need the body. If it relaxed, if you allow the process to go, you will have more energy in the next cycle.
Yeah.
In the next phase.
In the next phase.
Yeah.
You know, because if you are in tune with your body and the cycles and you respect them, this happens. This death, you know, monthly.
I know. Yeah, I never stop.
And even energetically and physically, like the blood is coming out, energy is coming out, and if you're in a practice, we are bringing it up. So we're doing, we are not allowing the body to.
Yeah. No, I think it's good, and I think most teachers are male, and so male teachers they would never say anything to you. They just keep telling you to keep going. And my first female teacher, Nancy Gilgoff, would always say, like, you have to take the whole week off. Like, whether your period's like 1 day or 5 days, just take it off the whole week. She's right.
I take 2-3 days.
Yeah, she's right.
Yeah, because I also don't have long. It depends. It's different for everyone. But it's nice to make a pause. You know, you're saying to your body, I'm respecting this space. I'm allowing to rest and to renew. And then I come back to my practice, renew with more strength and power.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And also detach from the practice these times. You know, during the new moon, full moon, lady holiday, you just detach for the practice. Do more. You can do chanting, you can do meditation, you can do pranayama. This is really good.
Whatever.
Meditation is so good during these times because you're much more connected to the spiritual world. You know, much more intuitive, much more, and you need to be more inside.
Yeah, that's true.
But also in some books, for example, like on yoga from my it says that we should stop doing our menstruation.
And not doing inversions and all
Yeah, I
that.
know inversions.
You could always come to the shower and do
that's
softer, not engaging movement. Because not engaging is as well as valuable practice to engaging movement. That's really controlling that muscle.
Then you can hurt yourself too. If you're pushing
Nowadays,
too hard.
about this, the knowledge is so much there.
Yeah,
Even like I can read a few things and talk. And I feel like it's a good time to be a teacher.
No, Eddie would make you come and you would just not do inversions. He would make you practice full practice.
Or maybe some people have the energy battery like you.
Yeah.
It can last for that phase and for the next
It
one.
just calms
Other
down.
people might make a difference, you know, to make a stop and then return. I think, but even like just having the idea to create a space of like recognizing a break. It's
Yeah.
maybe inversions. Your practice will feel like, oh, there's
Exactly.
an inversion.
Yeah.
I think even I speak for men. Like I would like to be given a few days off sometimes. Like I
Sometimes
push a lot.
it's
Push a lot.
and the holiday is like, okay, it's awesome.
but
I'm
it's
taking care of you. I'm taking care of you.
You
And
can
you
match.
give me some tea and okay.
Massage.
But you don't practice during full moon and
New
No,
moon.
no. Yeah,
so
that's
they don't.
stay off me. Okay, no more. No extra.
Yeah, but also some women are connected. The menstruation comes during
The full moon.
Exactly.
New moon.
New moon also.
Yeah.
And some others during the full moon.
So they
And
don't
not-
have an
and-
extra.
And there are
It's the same
also
always.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there are also
Or in the
some
women in the room too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes there are also women that are not connected neither with the full moon or with the new moon. So those women have also another extra
Yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
And you pay monthly, so
Well, that's part of the
if you
practice.
pay
you know?
monthly, and then you're losing like 5-6 days a month. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need my money's worth.
You can kind of meditate and see
Exactly.
the other.
That's what Sergio said. You can come and just stay there and do the
Yeah.
use the
After
shower.
tea.
That's true. Just yeah.
No, we could have five euros off. It's true, but we thought about it. But
Yeah, we thought about it.
I think
that's true. Just
we're guiding-
longer holidays.
we're guiding you into respecting the silence. So just come in, don't do inversions. Do an earlier shavasana.
Yeah, exactly.
Longer.
Yeah.
You can use the space.
It's nice.
Nobody's gonna. Oh, you're a lady already. Go away.
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna.
Okay, so we finish. Does anyone have any question? Anything else to share?
Let's do it final. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.